many Iris House events and functions, and usually I sit in the back and I listen to the Premier, who was Helen Zille. And the one thing about Helen Zille is she was really passionate about the children. She was passionate about the gap in the system, because in government we put money aside according to the Constitution, and unfortunately there seems to be a problem because governments normally forget about certain children and they're not really covered in the Constitution. And Helen was passionate about Iris House. And Sue, I think, and I'll mention, I just had a look at some of the numbers before I came this evening, to see the kind of difference that Helen started to put on our government. And there's some seriously huge shoes for me to fill. And I want to say to Iris House that I will continue on the vein that Helen was on in pushing for this kind of organization to fill the gap that is in society. And you know that 10 years ago when we started in government, there was a sum total of 120 individuals in 2009 who received respite care from government. Only 120. There is now funding for 99,872. The budget is sitting at 31.4 million. We've gone in disability care from 45 million to 161 million, and 220 like organizations. But if I think of respite care, I think there's one organization that leads the pack, and it's this organization. And there was something missing this evening when I saw these superheroes coming out, because there should have been one other superhero picture, and I'm going to put that to the team. I think we need to see the Sue superhero picture as well. Because there's no doubt in anything that happens in life, any organization that is successful, any business that grows, any NGO or care organization that grows, it has to be led. And if it's led with someone with passion, it actually does way better than any other organization. And if there's one thing that I can say about all of these NPOs and NGOs and organizations that are out there, I think we support over 2,500 across the board from a social development point of view. The one that does lead the pack with passion and really showing us as government what to do is Iris House, under the management and care, the passionate care of Sue. So from government, I want to say to you, thank you very much. I believe that you have met my new Minister of Social Development. So I'm very glad of that, because you need to build a relationship with her so that she can also become just as passionate about what you do for everyone in our region, and that you can, I'm sure, show the excellence of this organization through our government to help other organizations. And I know that's something that you really want to do, and you've got an ally in me. If ever you see something going wrong, you just send it to me. Other than via my wife, she also bites off the other ear, so you can have the opposite one. And so that I can also play my role in making sure that our budgets and our government are helping you and people like you and your team to do the amazing work that you do, the gap that you fill. But I want to say one other thing, and that is, you know, at the moment we are dedicating beyond our normal Bosparad process where we go in to look how we're going to, in the beginning of a new political term, the 6th Parliament of the province, what are we going to be doing, what are we going to be doing differently, how are we landing the manifesto in what we do. And we spent 3 days doing that, and we've had to put a 4th day aside, which will come on the 7th. And the 4th day that we've put aside is really to have a look at how we are going to be spending our money. And the problem that we have is in South Africa with a slow growth economy, in South Africa where we are seeing lower taxes than we were expecting, and of course in a province within that environment we know that our division of revenue cut is going to be less than we got last year. And we have to make tough choices and tough decisions in government. And I know how difficult it is when you have to shut things down or stop things in order to do other things. But we are going to do that. But if we are doing that, I know that you are feeling the same crunch. Because what happens with NGOs, NPOs, these special places like Iris House, they don't only get some government funding. They get funding from private sector organizations, fundraisers like tonight, and special individuals who fill out forms like I found on the table to make monthly contributions. And I know that that side of your business, without even asking you, must be also under tremendous pressure, just as we are. And this is where it really gets tough. But that's why I think evenings like tonight are so very, very important. And they're important because people that have come along tonight, people that have donated their artworks, people that have donated venues, become partners, and people who are going to reach into their pockets tonight to support Iris House. We know it is harder and harder to do this. And that tonight, people that are here this evening, you are the special people, despite what is happening in the environment at the moment, despite the tough economic climate that we find ourselves in. You are still here at functions like this, making sure that organizations like Iris House have the wherewithal to do the absolutely amazing work that they do to help our children. To help our children that really, really need it. To help our children to actually become those superheroes that we saw marching out here tonight. And so, Sue, it is a great pleasure to be here tonight. I look forward to being at other functions of yours, and I will make sure that on the 7th that we are cutting other things and not social development.
Okay, everybody has witnessed to that. It has also been recorded, by the way. Yes, I have met the minister. She is a lovely lady, and she has got a heart of gold. But what the Premier has just said is 100% true. You heard the figures that the Premier mentioned. He's not making those up. I know them as well as he does. I spend a lot of time doing research. But it really cannot just be a government problem anymore. We have, as a nation, turned to our government for so much. I'm British by birth, but I like to call myself a British South African. And I never would like to see this country turn into the cradle to the grave mentality that Britain has, which is the government will look after me. No, the government can't. We need to help ourselves. Hence, Iris House is here tonight, because all of you wonderful people have shown up to support us. And we are as active as the government is in raising funds. In fact, last year, when Premier Winde was not Premier Winde, he was then not the Premier, he now is, so pressure, a little bit of pressure. We actually raised more than the government gave us. And that was my fundraising team of 14 people. So we are not standing here with our hands out to government saying, please help us. We are helping ourselves, and that is what evenings like tonight are about. So I'm asking you and looking at your faces and saying to you, we need your help. But I know, I can see and I can feel in this room, we already have it. So without further ado, I'm going to hand you over to my MC, who's going to get our auction going, and then you guys are going to have some really yummy food, which, by the way, was also prepared by Iris House, with love. Thank you very, very much.